now. Live. This is 8 News Now at 5.
More backlash against MGM today as several victims speak out about lawsuits filed by the resort company against them. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brian Loftus.
And I'm Denise Valdez. Now, we first broke that story last Monday that nearly 250 claimants are now being named in a suit filed by MGM in U.S. District Court right here in Las Vegas. That number has grown, as have the number of lawsuits. Patrick Walker is here to explain.
Well, Denise and Brian, we have learned that in the last 10 days, MGM has filed 9 complaints for declaratory relief in 8 states. That comes out to nearly 2,000 people who are named as defendants as the company seeks relief from liability and to consolidate all of the claims into one and move litigation to federal courts.
I couldn't help anybody.
The memories are too fresh, too painful for many of the 1 October survivors.
I was on the ground and I felt like I was getting electrocuted and my whole body was just shaking.
The longest drive home, trying to figure out how I'm going to talk to my kids and how I'm going to tell them what happened.
These survivors in Southern California sharing their stories from the night of the tragedy and sharing outrage after being named in a federal lawsuit by MGM.
I'm going through all this and still going through this and to find out that this huge company, MGM Resorts, is suing me. I mean, how do you deal with that?
After the victim spoke, an MGM vice president reiterated the company's position, saying in a statement, quote, "It is heartbreaking to hear these personal accounts of an unspeakable tragedy. We grieve with all of the victims. We believe Congress determined these cases should be in federal court and that getting everyone in the same court is the best and fastest way to resolve these cases." MGM is not seeking any money from the victims. Instead, it is seeking relief from liability, citing the Safety Act, and to consolidate claims into one federal case.
They're trying to force jurisdiction into federal court where this case doesn't belong. It's not the proper right jurisdiction for it, and they're trying to intimidate these people.
Las Vegas attorney Robert Eglett represents some of the 1 October victims and argues federal protections only apply to the security company inside the concert venue.
Guess what? The security breakdown was not at the concert venue. The security breakdown was at the Mandalay Bay, where their security was woefully insufficient.
Major differences in opinion by both sides that won't be resolved anytime soon.
All right, so Denise, there are questions that are very simple on the surface, like who is liable and who's protected and which sets of laws applied, but they have very complicated and drawn out answers that are yet to be determined by the courts.
All right, so has this federal Safety Act been used as essentially a shield before for liability?
Well, we have not been able to find a case, and when you talk to several of the victims' attorneys, they've told me that this would be a precedent-setting case. They say it's never happened before if it moves forward that way. Now, the law protects Homeland Security and approved vendors, and then the companies that hire them from being sued for anything in excess of what would be covered under different types of insurance. So there's things like terrorism insurance, for example. Think about that. Attorneys suing MGM, however, say that doesn't apply here, and that's because Paddock carried out the attack from outside of the venue. So they say, and since it didn't happen within the festival grounds, MGM is liable.
I feel a very long process coming on here.
Looking that way.
Yeah. All right, Patrick, thanks. Well, certainly a lot of interaction on Facebook for this story today. People both for and against the MGM countersuits. For instance, Greg writes, MGM should be boycotted. They have some responsibility in this. Meantime, Veronica says, I'm so very sorry for what these families are going through, but the hotel is not responsible for it. An active shooter can happen anywhere. I understand they're hurting, but this seems not right to me. And then London writes, from lack of security and lack of paramedics, there are lots of holes in what could have been done to help these people who, in essence, were trapped like a pen of animals. We want to know what you think. You can join the conversation on our 8 News Now Facebook page.